Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Preschool show characters are known for being super nice, friendly, loyal, and always willing to help others. But screw that, that's lame. This week, we're gonna talk about the top 5 meanest preschool show characters. These guys aren't necessarily bad people, but they're either arrogant, rude, selfish, or even all of the above. And today, we're gonna talk about them. Before we begin, let's get a few things out of the way. For one, villains don't count, because, duh. Secondly, I can only pick one character per show. I can only pick 2 characters if they have the exact same traits. And one last thing, just because I put these characters on the list, doesn't mean I hate them. In fact, I actually like most of these characters. Characters like these are actually really important in kids shows, but I'll save that for the end. Without further ado, let's begin.
Just follow my lead and you'll be okay. Great! That means I lead, you follow. Oh, okay.
I don't know what I was thinking when I put this show on the top 5 worst Disney Junior show video back in 2022. Most of my videos back then aged pretty poorly, but this one aged the worst of them all. But now that I've watched the show for real, I gotta say, it's amazing. It's easily one of the best Disney Junior shows ever made. You bet it's getting its own video soon. But for now, let's talk about Amber, one of the main characters. Amber is the definition of a spoiled little brat. She's arrogant, she's snobby, and she gets super jealous of Sophia. In the pilot movie, when Sophia becomes a princess and moves to the kingdom, she does everything in her power to make Sophia's life a living nightmare. It's very easy to hate Amber, especially during the start of the show. But do you know what makes her character work? We understand why she acts this way. For one thing, she was raised by a wealthy family in a freaking kingdom. I think anyone would act entitled if they had a life like that. What doesn't help is that her dad pretty much spoils her to death most of the time. It's honestly kind of a miracle she didn't turn out worse. And as for the whole jealousy thing, Sophia became a princess overnight and got praised by everyone almost instantly without any effort. I'd be pretty mad too. Although, I don't know if I would catapult her into a fountain. On top of that, Amber is very three-dimensional. She can be bratty, but throughout the series, she starts to be more caring and sometimes even helpful to Sophia, and by the end of the show, she turns into a completely different character. God, I wish we got more shows like Sophia the First, it's so beautiful. I heard it's getting a sequel series next year, and I'm praying to God that Disney doesn't screw it up.
This is a dump truck. It is the worst toy ever. I hate it. Can I have it? No, it's mine!
Now, you're probably wondering, if Bluey is such a phenomenon, how come I barely talk about it? I made nearly 300 videos on this channel, and this is only my 3rd time mentioning it. Well, the truth is, I mostly like to stick to shows that aren't talked about that much, so my content can stand out more. And plus, there are like a million other YouTubers who talked about Bluey, so there's really nothing new I can bring to the table. But just so you know, I genuinely do like Bluey. In fact, I'm starting to like it more as I watch more episodes. As for the meanest character, this was honestly a pretty tough choice between Muffin or Judo. They're not the same character, so I can't pick both of them. So it all came down to who has the most screen time, so, yeah, Muffin wins. I'll talk about Judo in the honorable mentions. Muffin is a pretty divisive character in the Bluey community. Some people love her and think she's realistic and funny, but some people, particularly parents, find her annoying, whiny, and a bad influence on kids. For me personally, Muffin is one of my favorite characters in the show. For one thing, she's hilarious.
Muffin should have been in bed long ago. Look at her.
And as someone who has multiple young siblings and cousins, I can tell you that Muffin is definitely accurate to how a young child behaves. But I can also see where her haters are coming from. She's loud, disobedient, bossy, and throws tantrums whenever she doesn't get her way. And in episodes like Library and Facey Talk, she can be a real brat. She refuses to listen to Bluey and Bingo's rules while playing Library, and she doesn't share the tablet with her sister Socks during Facey Talk. But I think the Muffin haters are forgetting one thing, she's 3. You can't expect a 3-year-old to be as mature as a 10-year-old. What I like about Bluey is how well it betrays kids. Young kids are gonna be bratty, whether we like it or not. And also, her parents, Stripe and Trixie, aren't really the best at disciplining their child. They're not bad parents, but they do tend to pull bad behavior under the rug a lot. But the show is aware of these parenting flaws, and throughout the show, they do try to correct Muffin's bad behavior more. So yeah, Muffin might be a brat, but she's a realistic brat. And to me, that makes her a well-written and important character.
What's that? You see Pete?
Pete?
Gosh!
Oh dear!
Sorry, can't help it.
I'm kind of cheating with this one, because Pete can be considered a villain in some episodes, but for some reason, the show likes to go back and forth between making him a good guy and a bad guy. In one episode, he's really kind and helpful. And in the next, he's trying to shrink the entire city. Like, what the frick?
But dude, that's not the real Pete, that's PowerPoint's Pete.
What? Aren't they the same person?
Nope. They're completely different.
Okay, but what about the space adventure episode where he tried to steal the map to the space treasure?
That wasn't Pete either. That was Space Pirate Pete.
Space Pirate Pete? What the heck is even happening?
Yep, and he's not the only one. There's also Martian Mickey, Ghost Donald and Ghost Daisy, and—
Hold up, so you're telling me this whole universe is populated by just clones of Mickey and his friends?
Yep.
This show is so confusing. But yeah, Pete is one of the only characters on this list who I actively dislike. He is just so inconsistent. You can't have a character be super helpful in one episode, and be super mean in the other. That's not how three-dimensional characters work. You could have it to where he acts mean in the first season, and as the show goes on, he gradually becomes nicer. But no, they just can't make up their minds with him. And on top of that, he barely faces consequences for his actions. In the episode, Minnie Red Riding Hood, Mickey and Minnie are trying to deliver soup to Goofy, who is sick. But Pete does everything he can to try and steal it from them. And at the end of the episode, he randomly gets sick out of nowhere, and they just give him some of the soup. He doesn't apologize, he doesn't learn his lesson, he just gets exactly what he wants. Seriously, why are there so many preschool shows where the villains are let off the hook so easily? So let me get this straight, all I have to do is cry, or act sulky, and people will automatically excuse the bad things I did. Wow, what a great thing to teach kids. Not. Overall, Pete is not a well-written character. At all.
What do you want, Piston?
We're kinda in a hurry.
That's the problem. You're driving way too fast.
You're too young to give out speeding tickets. We know what it means.
We just don't care.
Safety rules.
Yeah.
Remember when I said I could only pick two characters if they have the same traits? Well, these two are the exact reason why I made that rule. As for Firebuds itself, it's fine. I kind of liked it when it first came out, but over time, I just lost interest. I guess it's one of the better modern Disney Junior shows, but it never really stood out to me. Iggy and Rod are pretty much rivals to the Firebuds. They're super arrogant, cocky, and sometimes even selfish. They don't have as much development as other characters on this list, but there was one episode that really delved into their characters, particularly Iggy. In this episode, Iggy tries desperately to help his dad with his shop. And whenever he messes up, it makes him feel devastated. And when these two villains show up to steal this precious car grill, Iggy and Rod are willing to work with the Firebuds to get it back. And just like that, the show made me care more about a couple of side characters in one episode than the main cast in the entire series. Also, just a side note, why do the side characters get all the personality nowadays? Not just in this show, but across the board. Most of the time, the side characters get so much personality and sometimes even character development, meanwhile, the main characters get nothing to work with. I promise you, watch any modern preschool show, and you will like the side characters way more than the main ones. Now, before we get to the number one, it's time for some honorable mentions.
Silly car! Silly!
I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I'm not sure that Caillou is mean enough to be on this list. Sure, there was that episode where he pinched his sister, but that was one time. I'd say he's more annoying and whiny than outright mean. Plus, everyone on the internet has already roasted this kid to death, so if I did put him on this list, I'd just be beating a dead horse. The same can be said for DW from Arthur, so she gets an honorable mention as well.
I know that. Blue's my friend.
Like Muffin, Judo is pretty controversial among the community. Seriously though, do people just hate child characters? Do you wanna go back to the 80s where every show was Care Bears, and every character were perfect little angels? That's not what kids are. Sure, Judo is bossy, and she does have a grudge against little kids, particularly Bingo, but that's how some older kids can act. Like I said before, kids can be jerks, they can be difficult, heck, most of the characters on this list are kids. Judo's not on this list because she was only mean in the episode, Butterflies. And even then, she did apologize in the end. She was pretty nice in the episode Mud, and she doesn't really have any other notable appearances. So at least she doesn't overstay her welcome.
Swiper, no! Swiping! You're too late! You'll never get your microphone now!
I used to hate Swiper growing up. I remember getting so tensed up whenever I heard that dreaded fox sound, and whenever he managed to swipe something, I'd have a huge tantrum. Yeah, I was a pretty weird kid. But honestly, Swiper is a pretty basic villain. He tries to swipe Dora's things, and that's his whole character. He doesn't even have much of a motivation to swipe things either. Heck, he doesn't even want the things he takes, he just throws them away for Dora and Boots to find. And sometimes, he even swipes living objects. Isn't that attempted kidnapping? Do we need to call the cops on this guy? But overall, he's fine. He's not really meant to be three-dimensional. He's just there to be a source of conflict in the show. Nothing more, nothing less. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The number 1, meanest preschool show character, is...
Can I have the ball back? He kicked the ball. That's not nice, Royce Bedo.
For those of you who don't know, Royce Bedo is a YouTube series on the channel, Woohoo Storytime. I don't usually talk about YouTube cartoons, but this one is just too bizarre to ignore. The animation is practically non-existent. The characters just rotate their bodies from side to side like cardboard cutouts, and their lips don't even move when they talk. I get this show was made on a low budget, but you don't need money to know how humans move. As for Royce Bedo himself, my god, this kid easily takes the crown for the meanest preschool character. I tried to keep this list limited to TV characters, but this kid is just insufferable. It's one thing to be bratty and throw tantrums, but Royce takes it to a whole other level. He insults his friends, refuses to cooperate, throws constant fits, and even farts on people like it's funny. He's loud, rude, selfish, and whenever you think he learned something, he's back to being a brat in the next episode. Yet for some reason, his friends just seem to put up with him. And I'm just like, why do y'all hang out with this guy? I know I said that kids can be bratty and difficult sometimes, but after all these years, you'd think he'd change, even just a little. And on top of that, his parents are freaking useless. But unlike Stripe and Trixie from Bluey, who at least try to discipline Muffin, Roy's parents just ignore his bad behavior. There was only one episode where he gets grounded for misbehaving, and just when you think he's finally facing consequences for his actions, he gets rewarded with donuts at the end. Are you kidding me? Instead of showing him earning forgiveness over time, and gradually learning from his punishment, he gets to eat donuts. What kind of message is that? I honestly can't believe I used to watch this show back then. It's not awful, and compared to other YouTube kids cartoons, at least this one tries to give some educational value, but Royce Bedo is a terrible character. He is easily one of the most unlikable preschool protagonists ever. And there you have it, my picks for the meanest preschool show characters. Whether they're bratty, selfish, or just plain crazy, these characters definitely know how to tick us off. But honestly, that's what makes them interesting. Not every character in a kid's show needs to be sweet and perfect, and sometimes, the mean ones teach the most important lessons, whether it's learning to be a better friend, understanding consequences, or just seeing how not to act. And hey, even if they drive us crazy sometimes, they keep things entertaining. Anyways, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think of these characters in the comments. And until next time, party on.